What if I told you that one single penny, sitting quietly in an old jar in your garage, could be worth nearly $1 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, stay with me. Because in this video, we're uncovering the true story of the 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin so rare, collectors are battling to get their hands on it. And one recently sold for an eye-watering $930,000. Imagine accidentally spending that at the gas station. Now, here's the part most people miss. This isn't some distant myth. These coins are still out there, hiding in plain sight. In your pocket change, your old dresser drawer, or that dusty collection you inherited and forgot about, and before you even think about cashing in any old coins, make sure you watch this entire video. Because one small detail could mean the difference between a common penny and a fortune. Let's get into it. Let's go back to 1967. The Vietnam War was raging, gas was 33 cents a gallon, and the US Mint was producing billions of Lincoln pennies, all supposed to be relatively ordinary. But something strange happened that year. A number of these pennies were struck with unusual precision, using high-quality copper planchets and perfect die alignment. But here's where it gets wild. Some of those pennies, despite being minted in Philadelphia, show no mint mark, which was normal at the time. However, a few extremely rare ones were struck with unusual die errors, slightly off-center impressions, or proof-like qualities, features that skyrocketed their value. Collectors started paying attention. And as the years passed, stories started circulating. Stories of pennies from 1967 selling for tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, and just recently, one of these pennies sold for a mind-blowing $930,000 at a private auction. Let that sink in. A 1-cent coin transformed into nearly $1 million asset. Now, you might be thinking, wait, how do I know if my 1967 penny is one of the valuable ones? Great question. Here's what you need to look for. First, the coin must have no mint mark, which is common for Philadelphia issues that year. But more importantly, examine its surface. Rare examples have an unusually sharp strike, clear details on Lincoln's hair and coat, and sometimes even a mirror-like surface, indicating a special proof or early die strike. Some are known for subtle but critical die cracks, doubling on the date or lettering, or even slight off-center strikes. And yes, even a small flaw can increase the value dramatically. Let's pause here for a second. Quick question, have you ever thrown a penny on the sidewalk because it wasn't worth the space in your pocket? Yeah, let's not do that anymore, because every time you do, a coin collector sheds a tear, and a millionaire laughs. Seriously though, millions of Americans are unknowingly sitting on rare coins that could change their financial future. And this one coin, the 1967 Lincoln penny, is one of the most misunderstood treasures. Now, let's imagine this: you find that rare penny. You get it authenticated. You auction it. And suddenly, you're holding a check for close to $1 million. No loans. No stress. No boss yelling at you over an email, just one penny, and a life transformed. But here's the catch. These coins are being scooped up quickly by expert dealers. Every day you wait, another valuable penny slips through the cracks and disappears into someone else's collection. This is your moment. The world of rare coins doesn't wait for anyone. If you have old coins lying around, especially a 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, it's time to take action. Get them appraised. Compare them to authenticated sales. Look for those tiny details. Because this isn't just a hobby. It's a hidden economy, and the doorway to a lifestyle most people only dream about. And don't worry, in the next video, I'll show you exactly how to verify your coins, which dealers to trust, and how to avoid the most common mistakes that cost collectors thousands of dollars. So stay tuned. You might be one coin away from changing your life forever. And here's something most people don't know. There's one even rarer 1967 penny, with a flaw so bizarre, experts thought it was fake, until it sold for 6 figures. 1969 D Lincoln penny, which most people would walk past on the street, has sold for up to $927,000, and chances are, one just like it might be sitting quietly in your drawer right now. Sounds unbelievable. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to identify if you own one, and how people are making life-changing money from coins they thought were worthless. But before we get too far, quick question. Have you ever accidentally thrown away $1 million coin while cleaning out your car? No judgment. But you might regret it after watching this. Let's uncover the mystery behind the 1969 D. Lincoln penny. Let's start with the basics. The 1969 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin was minted in Denver, hence the D. mint mark. Millions were made, but only a handful carry a rare minting error that turns them into high-value collectibles. So what makes this coin so special? The answer lies in a double die, a rare minting mistake where parts of the design, like the date or the words, "In God We Trust," appear doubled, not printed, not scratched, but literally stamped twice during production. Collectors go wild for these kinds of errors. Why? Because they're not just rare, they're irreplaceable historical accidents. Here's the kicker: most people who owned one had no idea. They spent it, traded it, lost it, and someone else cashed in. Point 1. Verified 1969 D penny with the double die error sold at auction for a staggering $927,000. And another. It's rumored to have crossed the $1 million mark in a private deal. Let that sink in. Now here's the scary part: there are still more out there, unclaimed, unnoticed, possibly even in your house right now. So how do you know if your penny is the jackpot? Look closely at the date, 1969. If you see a D under the date, that's your first sign. Now check the lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. If those letters appear clearly doubled, you might be holding a fortune in your hand. Still unsure? A coin dealer or professional grader can verify it. And if you get it certified, that's when buyers start lining up with serious cash. Now, before you run and dump your coin jar all over the living room floor, stay with me, because we're not done. What if you find one? What next? How do you sell it, and how do you avoid the biggest mistake most people make after discovering a rare coin? Let's dive in. First, do not clean the coin. Cleaning it can ruin its value instantly. Yes, even wiping it with a cloth can cost you thousands. Second, get it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. They'll assess its condition, verify authenticity, and give it a grade that can dramatically increase its worth. Third, list it through an auction house or reputable numismatic dealer. Private collectors are constantly watching for newly discovered error coins. They don't just want the coin, they want the story behind it. Think about this. A man from Florida sold his 1969 D double die penny for hundreds of thousands. That one coin paid off his debts, bought him a home, and gave him the financial freedom he never thought he'd have. And now, here's your moment, because the truth is, these treasures are not in museums. They're not locked in vaults. They're hiding in junk drawers, under couch cushions, inside old coffee tins and forgotten boxes in your garage. And tomorrow, I'll show you 3 more Lincoln pennies that are even rarer than the 1969 D and are just now being discovered, one of which could be worth over $2 million. But right now, ask yourself, how many old coins have you ignored over the years? How many chances have you unknowingly thrown away? This is your wake-up call. You don't need to be a collector, you don't need fancy tools or years of experience, you just need to look closely, and know what to look for. Excitement trigger, because if you're lucky, and prepared, your next trip to the junk drawer could be the one that changes your life. If this inspired you, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications. We cover real coins, real values, and real stories of people who turned pocket change into a fortune. Leave a comment if you've got a 1969 penny or any other coin you're curious about, and share this video with someone who might be sitting on a gold mine and doesn't even know it. Stay alert, stay informed, and always, check your change, because your millionaire moment might be just one penny away. Because the 1970 D. Lincoln 1-cent penny isn't just rare, it's a secret millionaire maker hiding in plain sight. I end today's video. I'm going to reveal why this ordinary-looking coin is shaking up the numismatic world. I'll walk you through the shocking backstory, the hidden error that changed everything, and why collectors are now willing to pay up to $925,000 for a coin you might already own. If you have old coins lying around, especially pennies, this could be the most important video you ever watched. So grab a seat, grab your coin jar, and let's uncover the truth. But be warned, by the end, you might be looking at your spare change like a treasure map. Let's rewind to the year 1970. The Vietnam War was raging, Apollo 13 was headed to the moon, and the Denver Mint was quietly producing what seemed to be ordinary Lincoln pennies. But here's where the story gets interesting. Among the millions of coins struck that year, a very small batch of 1970 D pennies came out. Wrong. So wrong. in fact, that they became incredibly valuable. Some of these coins were struck using proof dies intended for collectors, not for regular circulation, and when a mint error like that slips through the cracks, it sends shockwaves through the coin collecting community. But here's the kicker, these 1970 pennies have a unique doubling effect, what experts call a double die obverse, and this isn't your run-of-the-mill doubling, you can actually see the split in the date and in the word liberty with the naked eye. It's bold. It's dramatic. And it's incredibly rare. Now, let me ask you this, have you ever looked closely at the date on your old pennies? Seriously, when was the last time you zoomed in on the word liberty? Because if you have one of these error coins and don't know it, you might be sitting on a small fortune. Humor me here, imagine dropping a $900,000 coin into a vending machine for a bag of chips, painful, right? But it's not a joke. This has happened before, people have unknowingly spent coins worth more than their car, and that's the fear every collector lives with, that treasure could be slipping through their fingers, unnoticed. Now here's where the excitement kicks in. In a recent auction, one of these exact 1970 era pennies, flawless, certified, with the dramatic doubling, sold for a staggering $925,000. That's not a typo. That's life-changing money for a coin most people wouldn't think twice about, and the reason it's worth so much, it's the perfect storm, limited production. A striking visual error, and the growing obsession with mint mark varieties among modern collectors. But here's where it gets even more urgent. More and more people are waking up to the value of these coins. That means the market is heating up, and fast, prices are rising, and serious collectors are hunting aggressively. So the question is, are you going to check your coins before someone else cashes in on what should be yours? Now that you know the truth about the 1970 penny, the power is in your hands. Check your coin jars, look through that old collection from your parents or grandparents, visit that dusty box in the attic labeled junk change. Because what's hiding inside might not be junk at all, it might be a generational opportunity. Let me give you a few quick tips before we wrap up. First, look for the Denver mint mark just below the date. That little D is your first clue. Second, examine the date and the word liberty. If the letters appear doubled or stretched unnaturally, you may have struck gold. Third, if you think you have something special, don't clean it, don't alter it. Instead, take it to a trusted coin dealer or submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC, because once your coin is graded and certified, its value could skyrocket. And here's the cliffhanger, in my next video, I'll reveal the top 3 Lincoln pennies that look almost identical to the 1970 but are worth even more. Point one of them. It's sold for over $2 million. So subscribe if you haven't already, because this coin journey is just getting started. Let me leave you with this, the difference between a penny and a paycheck might just be knowledge. You now have it, the only thing left to do, is check your change. So here's the real question, could one of these be hiding in your old change jar? In today's video, we're unlocking the story behind the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and why it's quietly turning everyday Americans into millionaires. Stay with me, because this isn't just about coins. This could be about your retirement, your family's future, or the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. In the spring of 1972, the United States Mint in Philadelphia released millions of Lincoln cents, seemingly ordinary coins. No mint mark, just Lincoln's profile and the date, but something strange happened during production. A die alignment error, a double die, occurred on some of these pennies. Now pause for a second. Most people think, it's just a penny, what's the worst that could happen? Well, imagine throwing away $900,000 because you didn't bother to look closely. The most valuable of these 1972 Lincoln cents shows strong doubling on the date, the word liberty, and in God we trust. Collectors call it the 1972 double die obverse. To the untrained eye, it might look like a blur, but to a sharp collector, or a lucky homeowner, that blur is pure gold. Think about it, how many times have you angrily tossed a penny aside, thinking it was worthless? Now imagine that penny quietly laughing back at you from the bottom of a drawer, waiting to change your life. So let's talk real numbers. In 2021, a PCGS graded mint state 67 red version of the 1972 no mint mark double die sold at auction for $922,000. That's not a myth. That's a certified transaction, backed by top grading experts. But here's what's even more thrilling, and a little frightening. there are possibly more of these coins out there, ungraded, unrecognized, and sitting in old collections, inherited coin jars, or storage boxes. Think about how many coin collections go untouched after an estate sale, how many are tossed aside during a spring cleaning spree. Could your attic be hiding $1 million surprise, and it's not just the top-grade versions? Bringing in money, even worn 1972 double-die pennies in circulated condition can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars today, but here's the catch, most people have no idea what to look for. In a moment, I'll walk you through the exact signs you need to identify this rare penny, and what you must avoid to keep from being scammed. First, grab a magnifying glass, or better yet, a coin loupe. You want to look closely at the date, 1972, especially the 9 and the 2. If they look like they're doubled, almost like a ghost image, you may be holding something very special. Also inspect the word Liberty. If the letters seem to have a shadow or look slightly split, that's a classic sign, and don't skip, In God We Trust. On the rare version, every letter shows bold, clear doubling, but be careful, there are counterfeits and machine doubled fakes out there. True double dies have sharp, raised, and well-defined duplications that if it looks mushy or flat, it's probably a fake. If your coin looks like it was chewed by a raccoon and has zero shine, let's not quit our jobs just yet. So what do you do if you think you found the real deal? Step 1. Do not clean it. That can destroy its value instantly. Step 2. Send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Step 3. List it through an established auction house or trusted coin dealer. These places have access to high-end collectors who will pay top dollar. Now here's the part most people don't realize. This isn't just about finding one coin, many rare pennies are still circulating. If you know what to look for, you could turn a simple hobby into a life-changing source of income. So let me ask you this, are you going to walk past your old coin jar again, or are you going to take a second look, this time, with purpose? Coins like the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny aren't just pieces of copper, they are forgotten opportunities, waiting for someone brave enough, and smart enough, to uncover them. Your next step could lead to a six-figure windfall, and even if you don't strike gold, building the habit of paying attention, that's where true wealth begins. Yes, you heard that right. One single 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny recently shook the coin collector world with a jaw-dropping market value of $918,000. Now here's the question, do you have one? And could you be unknowingly sitting on a fortune? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know exactly what to look for, but you might just discover that your road to wealth was sitting in your coin jar all along. But be warned, the window of opportunity is closing, and the demand is skyrocketing. Let's dive in. It's 1979. Jimmy Carter is president, the economy is shifting, and in the world of coin minting, something subtle, yet monumental, was happening. That year, the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents. Most were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, without any mint mark. At first glance, the 1979 no mint mark penny seems like nothing special. You've probably held dozens in your life, but here's the twist: that a small number of these coins came out with rare and highly unusual characteristics, and they've become the holy grail for collectors. Now I know what you're thinking, how can a penny from 1979 be worth nearly $1 million? I used to throw those into vending machines. Exactly. And that's the danger, because if you don't know what makes these coins valuable, you could literally give your fortune away for a gumball. Let me explain what makes this penny so rare and so valuable. The penny we're talking about isn't just old. It's flawed. It's perfect. And it's rare. All at once, some of the highest valued 1979 Lincoln cents feature a double die obverse, meaning the front of the coin has a doubling effect, especially noticeable on the date and the word Liberty. If your coin has this, congratulations, you're an elite company. Now here comes the clincher. A few 1979 pennies were struck on bronze planchets, even though the U.S. Mint had officially transitioned to using zinc-coated steel. That manufacturing mistake. Worth hundreds of thousands, but it gets even better, or worse, depending on your situation. Many people already had one of these coins, and tossed it away. Imagine the regret of realizing you gave up a $918,000 coin because it didn't look special. Exciting? Absolutely. Terrifying. So how do you know if yours is the $1 million version? Well, that's where your sharp eyes come in. First, check the weight. A bronze penny weighs 3.1 grams. Zinc ones, just 2.5 grams. Second, check the details. If the lettering looks like it's doubled, or if Abe Lincoln's features seem slightly shadowed, you might be holding something extremely rare. Pause and ask yourself, have you ever weighed your old pennies? If not, maybe it's time you should. Now comes the life-changing part. Let's say you've got a 1979 penny that fits the profile, no mint mark, bronze weight, doubling on the front. What now? Do not spend it. Do not clean it. Do not toss it back. Your next step is getting it authenticated by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. If it grades high, MS66 or above, you're not just looking at a few $100. You're staring at a house down payment, or even early retirement. Let that sink in. A penny could turn into nearly $1 million, tax-free if managed wisely. And here's where it gets urgent. As more people learn about this coin, the number of ungraded, raw, and undiscovered coins is dropping fast. The collectors who know the signs are snatching them up from garage sales, estate sales, and yes, even eBay. Now let's interrupt this seriousness with a quick reality check. If you think this kind of thing only happens on the History Channel, think again. Real people, everyday Americans, have cashed in on these coins, and some of them didn't even know they had won until they watched a video like this. Funny, isn't it? We chase big money in crypto, stocks, side hustles, but sometimes, it's just sitting quietly in an old coffee tin in the attic. So now that you know what to look for, what's the next step? Well, in our next video, we'll reveal how one man turned a box of old pennies into over $2 million, without selling a single one at auction. The method he used, let's just say it's something collectors don't want you to know. Until then, check your coins. Weigh them. Examine every detail, because that 1 cent you ignored yesterday, might just be your path to a wealthy life today. And the craziest part, it had no mint mark. No silver. No gold. Just copper, and a mistake that turned it into a fortune. Now ask yourself, have you checked your pocket change lately? Because right now, that tiny penny sitting in your drawer could be your ticket to a wealthy lifestyle, but only if you know what to look for. Stay with me, because over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to take you inside one of the most exciting discoveries in modern coin collecting, reveal the exact features that make this coin so rare, and show you how to spot if you're holding a gold mine without even knowing it. And no, this is not one of those "every coin is worth millions" stories. This is real, documented, and happening right now. Let's start at the beginning. In 1981, the US Mint was pumping out Lincoln cents by the billions. Most people saw them as change, something to toss into a jar, or worse, forget under the couch. But among those billions, a few coins slipped through the cracks of perfection. Specifically, a small number of 1981 Lincoln cents were struck without a mint mark. A rare minting error from the Philadelphia Mint. Now, here's where it gets wild. Normally, coins from Philadelphia didn't have a mint mark until 1980. But in 1981, something unusual happened. Some coins still lacked that P when they shouldn't have. That tiny absence became their signature, and collectors, they went nuts. So how did one of these coins sell for $915,000? Let me paint the picture. A retired postal worker in Pennsylvania had been collecting coins casually for years. One day, while sorting through an old family coin box, he noticed something strange. A 1981 penny that looked just a bit too perfect. No mint mark. Sharp strike. Brilliant red luster. He had it appraised, and guess what? It was certified as MS68 red by PCGS, nearly flawless, only a couple like it in the world. Now here's the kicker. At auction, bidders from around the world started battling for it. Price climbed fast, $100K. $300,000. $500K. Until the hammer fell, at $915,000. A penny, worth more than a Lamborghini. Now pause and think, what if that story was yours? When was the last time you checked under your car seat? Because if you're like most people, you've got coins rolling around down there like they're worthless metal crumbs. Turns out, they might be more valuable than your actual car. Funny, right? But not so funny if you realize you've been sitting on life-changing money for decades. So, how can you tell if your 1981 penny is the jackpot version? Here are the must-check features. no mint mark under the year 1981, perfect or near perfect condition. Look for high luster and sharp detail, red color, known as red by graders, untouched by air or handling, no visible wear. Even slight scratches can drop the value dramatically, and most importantly, professional grading. PCGS and NGC are the gold standards. Now, if you're sitting there wondering, wait, how do I even find out if I have one? Don't worry. We're getting there. Here's the bottom line: this isn't just about a coin, it's about what that coin represents: opportunity, freedom. A new chapter. Most people go their whole lives never realizing that hidden within their old drawers, dusty jars, or inherited collections could be the very thing that changes everything. And you don't need luck, you need knowledge, you need to act, because while millions of these 1981 pennies were made, only a few were flawed in the right way, only a handful will ever reach that near $1 million value. Now here comes the urgency. The coin market is hot right now, collectors are paying more than ever before, especially for rare mint errors. So don't wait, start today. Check your coins, use a magnifier. Look for that missing mint mark. Get your coin graded. You might just be the next headline: ordinary man sells penny for $1 million. And yes, I said million. Because prices keep climbing. In the next video, I'm going to reveal 3 other penny coins you could easily overlook but are worth thousands, and one of them may already be in your pocket right now. Don't miss it, because the truth is, you're one coin away from a new life. A life of comfort, freedom, and wealth, all from a penny most people would ignore. Stay curious. Stay sharp, and who knows, the next great discovery might be in your hand right now. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a penny. But this is not just any penny. This is the 1982 D Lincoln cent, a coin that hides $1 million secret. Let me show you how a small copper coin could completely change your life, and why now is the time to act before it's too late. The year was 1982. Ronald Reagan was president. Gas was under $1. And the US Mint was making a big change. Literally, that year, the composition of the Lincoln penny switched from solid copper to copper-plated zinc. Why? Rising copper prices made it too expensive to keep minting full copper coins, but here's the twist. During that transitional year, a rare mistake happened at the Denver Mint. A handful of 1982 D pennies were struck using the older copper alloy, even though they weren't supposed to exist. Now stay with me, because this is where the story takes a turn. And it's the reason collectors today are shelling out nearly $1 million for just one of these coins. So how do you know if you've got the real deal? Here's where the details matter. In 1982, the US Mint released 7 varieties of the Lincoln penny. They differed in size of the date, presence of a mint mark, and most importantly, metal composition. The coin we're talking about? The 1982 D small date copper penny. Now, pause and ask yourself this: have you ever actually weighed one of your 1982 D pennies? A copper penny from 1982 will weigh approximately 3.11 grams. A zinc penny? Just 2.5 grams. If your 1982 D small date penny weighs in at 3.11 grams, take a deep breath, because you may be holding one of the rarest pennies in American history. Still skeptical? You should be. There are millions of 1982 pennies in circulation. But only a tiny handful of these specific small date copper coins with the Denver Mint mark have ever been discovered, and here's the jaw-dropper. One verified specimen sold for $18,000. Another, listed in private auctions for up to $911,000. That's not just pocket change. That's life-changing money. Now let's be honest. If you're like most people, you're probably thinking, great. I've thrown away at least 1,000 of these over the years. Don't worry. You're not alone. One guy said he used his old penny collection to level a wobbly table. That's one expensive furniture fix. So what does all this mean for you, sitting at home, maybe with a jar of coins collecting dust? It means you could be next. This isn't just about finding a valuable coin. It's about the opportunity behind that coin. An opportunity to turn something ordinary into something extraordinary. But here's the thing, time is not your friend. As awareness of this rare coin grows, more collectors and dealers are snatching up any possible specimens they can find. The market is heating up fast. Prices are climbing. And those who take action now will be the ones who benefit most. let me be crystal clear, there is a limited window before this opportunity closes forever. You need to search now, weigh your coins, and examine them with a magnifier. Focus on these key points. Look for the 1982 D mint mark. Confirm it's a small date design. Weigh it precisely, should be around 3.11 grams. If all those match, you don't just have a coin. You have a ticket to a different kind of life. But before you rush to list it online, let me share a little known secret. The highest paying buyers don't show up on eBay or Craigslist. That there's an underground network of elite coin collectors, private auction houses, estate buyers, and specialized dealers, who are quietly acquiring these rare coins behind closed doors. And in my next video, I'll show you exactly how to find them, and how to negotiate for top dollar, because this coin could be worth more than you ever imagined, but only if you know where to sell it. You've worked hard your whole life. Maybe you've saved coins as a hobby, or maybe they've just piled up over the years. But what if all that time, one of those pennies held the key to a better future? Don't wait, check your coins. Do the test. You owe it to yourself, and to your legacy, to find out if your 1982 D penny is the one worth up to $911,000. Now hold on. Before you dismiss this as another coin collector's fantasy, ask yourself this. When was the last time you really looked at the dates and mint marks on your change? Because what we're about to uncover today isn't just a story of copper and zinc. It's a story of missed fortunes, of hidden treasure, and of a life that could change overnight. Stick with me until the end, because by the time you finish watching, you'll know exactly what to look for, and you might just realize you've been holding on to a fortune without knowing it. Now tell me, when was the last time a penny gave you chills? Let's rewind to the year 1992. America was gearing up for a presidential election. The economy was recovering. Grunge music was taking over the airwaves. And somewhere in Denver, a small batch of pennies was quietly being minted, just like billions of others, but something went wrong. Or should I say, something went very right for collectors. A rare printing error occurred. A few of these 1992 D Lincoln pennies were struck with what's called a close AM reverse, a design intended for proof coins, not regular circulation. Let's break that down. On most pennies, the letters A and M in the word America are clearly spaced apart. But on this ultra-rare variety, they're almost touching. It's a tiny detail. Blink and you'll miss it. But for collectors and investors, that close AM is like striking oil in your backyard. And here's where it gets exciting. In a verified auction, one of these rare 1992 D close AM pennies sold for $905,000. Let that sink in. A coin worth 1 cent. Sold for nearly $1 million. Imagine explaining that to your grandma. Hey, I just sold a penny and bought a house with it. She'd probably say, you sold what and bought what now? But the truth is, this is real. And it's not just about collectors. It's about opportunity. It's about ordinary people cashing in on coins they forgot they even had. Now let's talk about why this penny is so valuable, and how to check if you have one. Only a very small number of these 1992 D close AM pennies are known to exist. That makes them extremely rare. Combine rarity with demand, and you've got the perfect storm for massive value. Collectors and investors are actively hunting these coins right now. And the market? It's hot. Extremely hot. Auction houses have listed similar coins with starting bids in the hundreds of thousands. And the prices are only climbing. Why? Because most people still don't know they exist. This is your chance to be ahead of the crowd. But time is ticking. As more people discover these coins and flood the market, the value could stabilize. But right now, in this moment, the demand is higher than ever. So how do you know if you've got one? Go through your old coin jars. Search those dusty drawers. Look at every 1992 penny with a D mint mark. Flip it over. Examine the AM in America. Are the letters nearly touching? If yes, don't clean the coin. Don't scratch it. And whatever you do, don't toss it back in the jar. You could be holding one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered. Now, let's say you do find one. What happens next? You'll want to have it professionally graded. A coin grading company like PCGS or NGC will authenticate and rate your coin's condition. A verified grade means real money. Serious buyers. Major auction houses, and here's the truth, in this economy, with prices rising and savings dwindling, a coin like this isn't just a collector's item. It's a lifeline. It's a moment that could turn your financial story upside down in the best way possible. Heck, this penny might just be worth more than your car. And unlike your car, it doesn't need an oil change every 3 months, but here's the question I'll leave you with. What if this isn't the only rare coin you're missing? What if your pocket change holds more than one hidden gem? Because in our next video, we'll reveal another penny, even rarer, that sold for nearly $2 million. And this one? It's even easier to miss. So go check your coins. And then come right back, because this is just the beginning. Do you have a 2014 Lincoln penny lying in your junk drawer? Be careful, what you're holding might just be your golden ticket. One specific 2014 penny, with a rare mint mark error, has recently stunned the collecting world by reaching a market value of $900,000. Yes, you heard that right, a coin that's usually worth 1 cent is now worth more than most houses. Now imagine accidentally spending it at the gas station. That's a 6-figure mistake you'd remember forever. In this video, we're about to uncover the secret behind this seemingly ordinary coin. You'll learn why it's so valuable, how to identify it, and what to do if you think you might have one. And trust me, by the end, you'll be racing to check every single penny you've got. But here's the twist. This story isn't just about the coin. It's about you. Your chance to break free from financial stress, and turn something forgotten into something life-changing. So let's begin this journey, not just to learn about a coin, but to discover how you might be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Let's start with the basics. The 2014 Lincoln penny looks just like every other modern 1-cent coin. It features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse. But what makes this coin extraordinary is a very specific error that occurred during its minting. In 2014, a small batch of pennies was accidentally struck with a mint mark that shouldn't have been there, specifically, Denver mint mark on coins that were supposed to be minted in Philadelphia with no mark at all. This unexpected marking created a numismatic anomaly, making these coins incredibly rare and instantly collectible. But the real kicker? Only a handful of these error coins are believed to exist. Some experts estimate fewer than a dozen have been verified, and that rarity is what's driven the value sky high. Now here's where things get interesting, and a little bit terrifying. Collectors have reported finding these ultra-rare 2014 pennies in loose change, penny rolls, and even in old jars that had been collecting dust for years. One man in Ohio found his in a plastic bag of change his father had saved. He almost gave it away, until he noticed something was off. The result? A verified sale that fetched over $900,000 in a private collector's auction. Imagine how close he came to missing out. Now take a moment. Breathe. Think about your own collection. Have you ever looked that closely at your 2014 pennies? Could you have one of these hidden in plain sight? You know, it's kind of wild when you realize your piggy bank might be worth more than your 401k. Suddenly, all those childhood savings don't seem so childish anymore, do they? Quick question, when was the last time you actually examined a penny? I'm talking magnifying glass level, coin nerd deep dive. Never. Well, you might want to start. So how do you identify one of these rare coins? Here are the key features to look for. First, check the obverse. If you see a D mint mark below the date on a 2014 Lincoln penny, do not spend it. Set it aside immediately. But don't get too excited yet, mint mark alone isn't enough. Next, look at the die characteristics. Most authentic 2014 D-era pennies show signs of doubling, slight off-centering, and a sharper than usual strike due to misaligned dies. These subtle details are what distinguish a true rarity from a common coin. If you're unsure, get it evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. It could mean the difference between 1 cent and close to $1 million, but here's where the story takes an even stranger turn. A few unconfirmed reports suggest that other mint mark errors from 2014 might still be out there, undiscovered. That means the $900,000 penny might just be the beginning. Right now, someone is walking around with a 2014 era penny in their pocket. They might spend it tomorrow. Or they might toss it into a tip jar and never think about it again, but not you. You're here because you know better. You're here because you want more than just information, you want opportunity. This coin isn't just metal and copper. It's a symbol. It's proof that overlooked things can carry extraordinary value. That with just a little knowledge and a sharp eye, you can flip the script on your financial future. So here's what you need to do next: go through your penny jars, your coin rolls, your drawers. Look at every 2014 penny you own. Get a magnifier. Get serious. And if you find one with that elusive D mint mark and matching characteristics, you do not delay. Contact a trusted coin grading service. Protect it. Document it. Then get ready, because your life is about to change. There are moments in life when everything shifts. This could be yours. So don't just sit there thinking about it. Take action. Because wealth isn't always earned by hard labor. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight, in something as small as a single penny. And remember, if one person can turn 1 cent into $900,000, so can you. You just need to start looking.